how do I put my money in assets when the money is not even enough? Okay, so let me say this first. There are always assets within the range of what you can afford. You will always have assets if you look in the right places, okay? If you're not going to compete with the rich, what you want to do, you want to be strategic. So you want to find your points of leverage. You may need to shift your mindset like I have to do. If you want to build your network, build your wealth, okay, you may need a shift of mindset like I have to do a major mindset, because when we got married, okay, so my initial aspiration, okay, was beautiful car, beautiful house, money in the bank, okay, breakthrough, proof that things have changed. And then we got married, and my wife was just on the other side. Let's use the money to buy something. Let's use the money to buy something before it disappears. Okay, shift of mindset. Shift of mindset. So, strategy number one. Some people say they will not call any item an asset except it is bringing money in. Wow. So, I had a shift in mindset to begin to invest in assets. And then I now had another shift in mindset when I discovered that to some people, it doesn't matter that you use the money to buy something and you can still look at it. To them, if it is not actually bringing money in, it's not an asset. For them, it is an asset if it is bringing money in. Wow, I love it. So you've got to have in mind to not only just store wealth, okay, in cash. You need some of it in cash, of course. You need some in cash, emergency funds. Okay, I observed in the early weeks of the pandemic that when the lockdowns were imposed in different countries, some people ran out of cash fast. Some in 2 days, 3 days were flat broke. Some in 1 week, some in 2 weeks. And then I saw what I had learned many years ago on the essence of saving for emergency. Okay, yes, that you should save the equivalent of 3 months or 6 months worth of your monthly expenses. Okay, so you have liquid assets, right? So that's cash that you can reach out to at short notice. But then, other than that, you should be investing in other things. Okay, you want your money to bring you money, to earn money, to work for you. As I share this, okay, I'm putting myself in the position of the person that is just starting out on this road. I can empathize. I feel, the battles that go on in the mind when you want to do something like this, when you want to change levels like this. I fought many battles in my mind because the first question is, but the money is not enough. So how do I put my money in assets when the money is not even enough? Okay, so let me say this first. There are always assets within the range of what you can afford. You will always have assets if you look in the right places, okay? If you're not going to compete with the rich, what you want to do, you want to be strategic. So you want to find your points of leverage. When what you have is small, you learn to leverage time to multiply. Okay, so I like to have a big farm, big corn farm. I like to have, corn stored up in massive warehouses. But all I have right now is a cup of corn, a cup of seeds. What should I do? Plant them. Plant them. And for each one that is planted, you have 3 or 4, 2, 3 or 4 corn cobs growing on one stalk. That's principle. That's multiplication. That's power. Okay, so I then have a lot more to plant. What will the harvest be on the second cycle? A whole lot more. Then I take that and plant it, and then it multiplies. So that's what I'm trying to say. That when what you have is small, then what you want to do is to leverage that to multiply. Let's talk about real estate, for example. So I found out that in Lagos, for example, that right in the center of the city, oh my God, commercial nerve center, property expensive. Then I found out the further you go out into the suburbs, into the outskirts, the lower the prices go. And then just go as far as you can, to find what you can afford. 5 years, 10 years, okay? I remember we bought some plots of land about 18 years ago for one of our organizations. Honestly, right now, okay, the figure in Naira, we bought each plot of land for 45,000 Naira, and now each one is 4.5 million Naira. So that's 100 times 100, okay? And now there's development, huge development around the place. So some of the places that look like the city center to you now, they were outskirts of the city 20 years ago, right? So if you want to build your network, you've got to be patient, right? Leverage time. So there are always assets within the range of what you can afford. You will find them when you look for them. What you look for is what you find. Once you knock yourself out in your mind and you give excuses, that's all. Even if the opportunity was right under your nostril, you will not recognize it. Okay? Strategy number 2, study compound interest and start early. Study what is called compound interest and start investing in assets early. It's remarkable. I mean, I just gave you some figures. That's it. That with time, the value of assets, appreciating assets, just literally multiply. It's remarkable. It's just the way it works. I mean, some people call it magic, the magic of compound interest. So have a long view and be patient. Have a long view and be patient. Honestly, when I see people in their 20s and in their 30s, I almost want to scream. And honestly, so 20 years ago, that was what I was doing. I was shouting, if in your 20s and your 30s, now I think I was in my 30s too. And I would say to people, you've got to save. Now you've got to save. Don't spend all the money and you've got to save now and you've got to invest. You've got to, if you don't want to be broke, some of you, like your parents at the time you're in your 60s or 70s, now. So that's what I would say. But then, however old you are, it's never too late to start. Okay? Have a long view and be patient. Now, for those that feel that they've lost time, or those who, like me, have tasted poverty, right? Did I use the word taste? That was more than tasting, that experience. Okay, my family was okay. My dad became a businessman, and then something when the business went down, and then the hardship came in, struggling to pay rent, struggling to buy food into the house, and all that. Okay. When you've been through deprivation, you tend to want to become desperate. So when it comes to this issue of building your network, then people want to make the money quick, fast. Honestly, get rich quick schemes usually turn into get poor quick schemes. Be patient. Okay? Be patient. Be patient. When you are desperate, there are people that have the ability to recognize you. They'll collect your money. They have a lot of experience. Okay? So I remember the saying, when the man with experience meets the man with money, the man with the money goes home with the experience, while the man with the experience goes home with the money. Be careful. Okay? The point is this: the earlier you start, the better. Start in your 20s and 30s. If you missed the train, start today.